So this is how you're going to sew your dinosaur. The first thing you're going to do is have your number 1 triangle facing up with the good side facing you. You'll take one of your squares, fold it in half, your little squares, and then you will sew on one of them using a running stitch like we used before. Your next step will be to grab another one of your little squares that you've folded into a triangle, put your needle through the end of your one triangle and let them overlap like you see here. So you will just continue to connect them as you go and so on. I had room for 3, but my squares were a little bit bigger. Some of you may have room for 4 or 5. So here we've got our 2 triangles, one here and one here. So for right now we'll just call this one, this is our first triangle and this is our second triangle. So we can call them triangle number 1 and triangle number 2. Later on in the video you'll see that these numbers change, but it's just for right now we'll call them the first and second. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your second triangle and you're going to fold it over on top of your first triangle. So you're sort of making a sandwich with your dinosaur points. So over here you can see that you have your first triangle and then your second triangle folded on top. It's really important that you make sure that you have good side facing good side. Here you'll see that I'm just doing a running stitch, sewing all the layers together. So you have triangle number 1, then you have your points for your dinosaur, and then triangle number 2. And you're going to come through all those pieces and just do a running stitch the same as what we've been doing in class. So once you get to your end here, what you're going to do is you're just going to weave your needle in and out around the same spot a couple of times to make sure that your stitching is solid, and then you can loop it through and tie it in a knot just like we did when we did our buttons. So over here you can see that when you open it up, you don't see any of your stitching, and you've got your 3 or 4 or 5 points for your dinosaur and then your good side of your triangles. So once you have those 2 stitched together down the side, you can open it up and you'll see that you have your 2 good sides of your fabric with your dinosaur points sticking through. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your good side and match it up with the good side of a new triangle and put the 2 good sides together. So once you do that, you're going to do your same stitching along the bottom here and along the bottom here. But this side, you're going to stop part way. You'll stop here and tie off and then leave yourself another little space, sew to the edge and tie off, because this will be the space that you will put your stuffing or your rice into. Once you've stitched that one down the side and left yourself a hole, now I just stitched over top in the interest of time, but you will want to tie them off at each end so that you don't have that restriction here. So when I open it up, this is what it looks like. So I have my triangle here, my dinosaur points, and then my next 2 triangles. My 3 triangles, so now I'm going to take my 4th one and lay it good side to good side and lay it on top of that triangle and stitch along the bottom here again. So when I have it done, I will have 4 triangles and this will be in the center. Alright, so now we have our 4 triangles sewn together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this part, what you're going to do is you're going to take triangle number 4, this guy here, and fold him over to triangle number 2. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Alright, so now you can see you have your one triangle. Triangle number 4 has been folded over to line up with the top of number 2. Okay. Now I'm just going to pin this part and show you the next step. So what you'll see now is that you've got your number 4 sewn to the top of number 2, and you've created yourself a little bit, your little pouch of your dinosaur. Your next step is going to take this, your last triangle, which is triangle number 1, and you're going to stitch those two sides to these ones here. So you're going to bring up your point. It'll be easier for you because yours will be sewn and mine's just pinned. So bring up your point and sew these two sides together. Once you're done that, you'll find your hole that you've left for your stuffing, which should be at the bottom of number 1, and you'll turn your triangle inside out and have it ready for stuffing.